you beautiful people. Welcome to my new podcast, Inspire with Ayisha, where I interview beautiful, successful women to learn, inspire, and empower other ladies out there. Our first guest today is someone who has an inspiring story to tell about her success in Hollywood. She walks us through her struggles and provides us with tips on how to overcome them. Yes, it's Briana Evigan. Her major debut was the star of the box office hit Step Up 2. Since then, she has been starred in various movies. She also strives to bring home stories to tell on the big screens. Moreover, she has deep dived into the anti-poaching world and closely worked with the Cambodian organization Somali Ma'am, teaching and serving as a role model for young victims of sex trafficking. Most of us tend to overlook the stories celebrities have to tell. Let's learn to always empower each other and embrace what we have been through. On this note, let's open up our minds and hear what Briana has to say about how to grow as an individual and entrepreneur. Hi, Briana. How are you?
Hi,
Thank you
I
for
am
being
good.
here.
Thank you for having me here. This has been very exciting all week. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. And I
Yeah,
see that you have a great story and the way you have taken from being an actress to being an entrepreneur and what you want to achieve. It's really inspiring for me, and I'm sure for many others. We all know that Hollywood is the toughest place.
hmm
And you being a woman and coming into this competitive world, what changed in you from the time you entered into the Hollywood and now when you have millions
yeah,
of fans following you and what has changed in you during this course of time?
yeah. There's a lot of things, but I think my heart changed for the better. I felt like I kind of got into the entertainment business quickly out of nowhere with Step Up, and yeah, I really got thrown into it, and the first 3 to 5 years was a lot. And I kind of felt like I was struggling with balance and keeping relationships and friends, and was making a lot of money for the first time at a really young age. And I was not awake. And it wasn't until I was 25 that I really woke up and I felt like I existed as a human being. And I kind of had this change of heart of wanting to be a team builder, wanting to support others, wanting to just do constant acts of service. Um, I I hadn't met myself yet, so being that busy and around so many different personalities and getting challenges thrown at you left and right, I hadn't met myself yet. So one of the big changes was that I discovered I really wanted to be a storyteller, and not just a storyteller in just making films all the time. It really was, I wanted to go find stories in other countries. I wanted to meet people that had stories to tell, and I wanted to bring them home and share them, um, and find the truth, to the best of my ability in these stories, because people love film. They relate to it. Um, we can heal people through it, and we have. It's been proven. I've watched. It's had that effect on me as well. So I think really just in this weird way, it kind of softened my heart. Um, all of the rejection, and it plays with your self worth, and it made me really face myself and find out who I am and who I want to be, and the things I don't like and that I don't want to be. So yeah, it woke me up. It woke me up, that's for sure.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
not the answer I was like. It's fascinating, it truly does affect the heart, and I can see what you're trying to make an impact,
Yeah.
and with your whatever success you have achieved, you're making an impact that counts a lot.
Yeah.
So
Well, thank you.
I congratulate you and I applaud for your what you're doing, and
Thank you.
it truly is inspiring.
Thank you.
um, while discovering, did you come across your strengths and weaknesses?
Hmm.
This is the problem with many entrepreneurs when they are starting their work and they are doing something. They think they know they know it all, right?
Yeah.
They don't know where they are lacking and how they're gonna fix this. So, how did you discover? What did you discover, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah. Um, I'd say a big part of finding my strength in myself was actually my family, and having this really strong backbone, and just consistently having people lift me up, um, and remind me of myself and the compliments that come along the way that sometimes are hard to take in life, right? When you hear certain things and you take them and you look at them with yourself and you understand who you are in this crazy world that we live in and what my place is, um, I started to develop these little strengths, and they gave me confidence, right? They gave me confidence to get in front of the camera. They gave me confidence to sing. It gave me confidence in understanding that nobody else is like me. I'm not like anybody else. We all have these little individual gifts, that have been given to us that we have to explore, because nobody will do them the same way as you. So one of my strengths became understanding that I am my own individual person, and I have to do it my way, and I have to do it authentic to myself, and that's what becomes contagious to others. And I remember meeting people in rooms and feeling like, there's this attraction to them. What is it? It's that they're themselves. And the strength, I think, that you have to build up in yourself to be able to have that presence when you walk into a room is really something else, you know. And my mind, letting my mind not take over and living from my heart has been definitely a strength that I discovered. We have to talk ourselves out of these things sometimes, and it's very complex. But when I do listen to my heart, when I come from my heart, it always wins, even if it's complicated and hard confrontation in life. I come from my heart, and it just wins. So I would say that my heart was one of the biggest discoveries of strength in my life, and I have a strong one, and I've mourned situations and dealt with them and gone through them instead of pushing them aside. And it hurts and it takes time. And every time I have pain, I end up developing more strength. And I surprise myself. And that's what's so cool. It's like, we don't really know what we're capable of until we're in it. And then when you get out of it, you really realize you're out of it, and how incredible that journey was while you were through it. And then as for the weaknesses, I would say it's tough because there's so many things I'm not good at. There's so many things I'm not good at. But my favorite thing about the weaknesses is, something I've really learned is that we have to build an empire to succeed in so many ways in life. And I'm a big team builder. I like working with people. And a strength that came out of a weakness would be somebody else can do that better than you. And if you can find them and bring them onto your team, then together you can make something great. But my weaknesses are my weaknesses. And I'm okay with them, and I have to accept them. And that's just that.
Oh, awesome. This is the thing, the weakness, you make it a strength. And you're right. Not everybody is good in everything, right?
Right.
You have to bring the right team in, and you get that success.
Yeah.
And I believe in that too. And we discuss this because not everyone, like, people say I'm the best, I can do everything. That is BS. You can't do that everything.
No.
You can't be. So that's a good strategy, and I'm sure my audience will love what you shared about
Yeah.
how you turned your weakness to strength.
Yeah.
So that's very intelligent of you. What challenge did you face? That you overcame. How did you? What
Yeah.
kind of challenge? Because everybody faces challenges, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's with the people or with the events, or you're
Right.
lacking in the weakness. And what challenge was it, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah. So one of the greatest challenges I went through was that I was in love with a man, mainly all of my 20s. And I had to leave him,
Oh,
and it was the hardest thing I ever did. And we both were mad about each other. But it changed my life. It was the hardest and the best thing that happened. And, if we ever talked today, I would imagine there'd be a great amount of love for each other. But it was almost like just toxic in the end. And it was so hard at 25 to walk away from somebody that I loved that much, because we weren't good for each other. And what happened was I started traveling, and that's when I kind of started waking up in life. But again, I didn't know myself when I was with him. So going to events, going to any of these things, I just felt like worthless for a while, And when I woke up, I actually found God on the top of a mountain by myself after trekking for days in the jungle. And this is outside of religion and everything. Just had this enlightenment moment that changed the trajectory of my life. And the hardest thing in it all was, the positive part of that, was that I felt safe for the first time. I felt seen for the first time. And the hardest part that shifted everything was understanding how to forgive. Forgiveness.
mm-hmm.
How could I forgive this person? How could he forgive me if we couldn't forgive each other in person? And that never happened. So learning forgiveness without a person to forgive or be forgiven by was just years of challenges for me. And then it happened in a number of different ways, but I just thought it was the most beautiful thing of what happens to you as a human when you truly forgive someone else and you forgive yourself and you let go, and that changes the way I work. It changes the next relationship. It changes my friendships, my families, every job I take, every step all of a sudden was different, and it was my choice. And that was really important, that it was my choice now, not somebody else's, what
that's
I needed.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. Awesome. Really, words of wisdom.
Yay.
This is as if I'm learning a lot. I have dealt with it myself,
Mm,
and forgiveness is the
yeah,
biggest
it's huge.
strength you have. And it's not easy for everyone. So what you have learned, and you have faced this challenge, and how you overcome was the best thing in
Mm,
your life. And I believe that when you meet people, you learn something new with that person, or you find a new way, you discover yourself, but you're not meant to be with that person for a long
right.
time. So that's the
Yeah.
so when
Yeah.
you come across a lot of people in your life, you're learning, you're growing, and you're discovering yourself. So thank
Yeah.
you for that. This is really
Yeah.
very good for our
Yeah.
audience. And but there are some things that I have learned in a tough way.
Mhm.
I wasn't expecting the situation to turn out this way, and then we did. Maybe we missed out on an opportunity, or
Yeah.
tell us something that you have learned in a very hard way.
Yeah. I guess to get more back into the entertainment business, something that was hard was I had quite a bit of success for a lot of years in the beginning of everything. And then when I started getting more selective about the stories I wanted to be telling, and was dealing with some difficulties with agencies and wasn't happy with the relationships that I was in with them, um, I stopped working. And I had an agent tell me one day that they couldn't get me in the room anymore. And it hurt. I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh, okay. It was really humbling, first of all. Um, but I was having a hard time even getting into rooms to audition all of a sudden. And went from being on fire and then not. And it was a big ego kick. And it was also really good and really healthy for me to have it, because I was young when all this was happening. So I was just flying with it. I wasn't really looking at what was happening. And I'd say it was so hard because what it did is it made me insecure, and it made me wonder why nobody was looking at me for this role anymore, why they didn't want me, or did I do something that I was unaware of? Did I burn a bridge with somebody where, they didn't want me there? And it's like I said before, it messes with your self-worth, and it gets you all in your head and stuff. And
Mhm.
and the hard part about it was I had to rebuild, and I'm still in the middle of that right now, but now it's the most exciting part. And I feel like I'm having the most success internally than I've ever had in my life right now. Um, and nobody knows about anything going on, which I love because I can't wait to share it with everybody. But it was really hard. And and having to rebuild, find new agents that believed in me, finding new team players that we kind of wait a lot as actors, and if you're not developing your own stuff, which I can talk more about, if you're not developing your own stuff and getting your foot in the door and writing with people, and I don't know how anybody's doing it anymore. The competition is so high. There's so many people doing this now, and so many talented, incredible artists out there. But yeah, I guess to answer your question, the hard part was all of a sudden feeling not seen and being told that you can't get in that room. So I'd self tape and like figure out a way to get in, but it was a big challenge.
Yeah,
It was big.
That's turning point for you, right?
Yeah.
Even with the social media and all the competitive world that we have, finding that thing, you have figured out, and you changed your path, your way. That's good, because success gets on your head for sure. It happens for everyone, and
it's
then
human. Yeah,
realizing and then taking the right path, and you took it soon, so that's good, especially at that age, with you're saying 25 years old, or that's really tough.
Yeah, and at that age, at 25, when I felt, I still am actually trying to figure this out when I talk to my therapist and my friends. What happened when I was younger that I felt silenced, because I have this incredible family and had a pretty nice, solid upbringing. And I felt like when I met animals, injured animals, abused animals, all of a sudden I had this purpose, and I woke up and like I had this voice for the voiceless, and they spoke a language with me, and it was a language that made sense to me, and that's kind of one of the other big things that I had to learn on my own, that nobody could have taught me. That had to come from experience, and years of it. So
that's true. And this is what we say, the entrepreneurs also, there are a lot of people who can advise, but if you're in that shoes and you have dealt with it and you succeeded, that's when you can give the right advice and suggestions. Now I want to ask you, when you see entrepreneurs, when they face tough times, they get disappointed, they cannot continue their path, what they wanted to achieve. One time I just want to quit, this is enough. This is enough. You must have So okay, what do you advise them to do to keep going on and not quit?
Well, I think there's a few things internally to do, and then there's a few things externally. So when I first heard the concept that we're 99.9% the same makeup, and that there's just this like 0.01% of us that's different, to me, that little point percentage is our individuality. It's the thing that makes us actually separated from each other. Otherwise, we're the same, we are one all the way. Right. But that little percentage to me is the gift that we're each given. And I truly believe that my dream, your dream is for you, mine's for me. Nobody else, like I said, could do it the way you would do it, right? So you have to do it. Maybe the first part of what you're doing maybe that's not the whole story. You know what I mean? Maybe that part, you do have to figure out a way to get out of what you were doing, and maybe there's something bigger, but that little thing might be lining you up for the next thing, right? So the idea, though, that nobody else can make your dreams come true other than you have to do it. There's no other answer. You're the only one that's going to make it as great as you would. And if every person in the entire world focused on that 0.1%, I think the whole world could be a different place, and we'd actually be working together, And if I were to share, it's like there's this saying from this book I love, like my dream, maybe it was to affect 1 million people, right? But if I shared that dream with somebody else and they became a part of it, and their dream was something different, they could put theirs with mine and they could affect billions.
Yeah.
But we have to do it for ourselves first. And nobody's going to have the brilliant ideas that you have or that I have. They're always going to be different. And that's why I'm such a big, team player type person. But yeah, you can't give up on it. And if you feel like giving up on it, think about why, because maybe it is to do something else, but you can't fully ever give up on all of it. They're all little stepping stones to the next thing that's going to create the magic that is of you.
Wow. Yeah. That's brilliant. Yes. And that's the thought, every individual, if they have that 1.1% thought, you can make a difference.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody comes out with something different. And thank you for that. And
and then to add one more thing to that, the external part of it that I was saying is sometimes when I get lost, because I've wanted to give up on this project I've been developing for about 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a film in Africa that we're shooting next year now. We were supposed to be shooting this July, but with everything going on, obviously. So something that's helped me with that is I've had times where I literally look at myself and I'm like, you have no idea what you're doing. Like, how have you gotten this far? How are you going to get to the next step? I'm so lost. I'm going to pull the whole thing, but I can't because I have people's money involved, which almost makes it worse and more, the pressure's on. And then I just sit and I listen and I ask for certain answers, and they usually come. And often they come in some other form that was far off from what I was looking for. Or I'll be walking by and listening, just listening, take a day to listen. And something will pass that gave me the most simple answer and all the confidence in the world to carry forward. And sometimes I put myself in a circle of mountain gorillas and I have them hold me and I have them speak to me. And I it's like this project is so much bigger than me. So how would I have the answers? I have to sit and listen to them. And I truly believe that's something we can all be doing more of all the time, just listening.
Yeah. You have the self-doubt some moment, but you have to snap out and come and look into bigger picture, what actually you're trying to achieve. And that is something great and phenomenal. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You have obviously done a lot of things and you're continuing to do. What has been the biggest inspiration in your life? Who has been or what has been your inspiration?
Yeah. So the who, the Mother Teresa's of the world, Buddha, Jesus, all these teachers that for me I can't touch, that have been incredible teachers in my life. But the biggest inspiration has actually been my mother. And the more I come into my womanhood, the more she's just right there. She's just been my biggest fan, my biggest support. She never judges me. She gives me the free range to be my own person. And growing up, I was really close with my dad because I was a tomboy and a little rascal. And the older I get, the more I see that my mother's just this rock. She's, if I could be half the woman she is, I'm good.
That's fantastic. I mean, you have your mother as a role model and inspiration.
Yeah, I lucked out.
For sure.
Yeah, both of my parents really, but being a woman, my mom, she's something else. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, and then there's some actors and stuff, of course.
Yeah, they teach a lot. And, the school starts from home. So they're the biggest teachers for us. Like they teach us. And we are blessed to have such mothers. And bless you. Yeah. Bless your mother.
You have that too?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, good. Awesome.
Obviously, my father is also very supportive, but my mom, she's the one who, she believes in me, and she, always positive side, always looking into positive side, what he can achieve, what I can achieve. And she's like a force to me, like, some strength. That brings us to the question.
Yes.
How do you handle them? You have people who like you, but there is criticism as well, critics every time. And that helps you to grow. So I'm not against it. But how did you overcome criticism?
Yeah. Well, I guess the first time I was really heavily criticized was during the Step Up days. So I was in my early 20s, and people would just write terrible things and just they were just mean. You know, I kind of laugh at it now because I can't imagine writing these things to people. Um, I mean, it's complete verbal abuse, and I've got friends. We all still deal with it in different ways. But when I first was criticized, it was really hurtful. And I remember, again, calling my mom, didn't know what to do. Why did everybody hate me? I wasn't this, or I wasn't that, or my boobs were too small, or there was something. There was always something.
Always something.
Yeah. And then, later when I started seeing comments when I was actually really on social media, I felt like I wanted to respond to some of the people and ask them why they felt that way. And then that was when things started shifting in me, and I was like, oh, I'd love to know why you thought that about me. Like, what gave you that message? Did I make you feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I wrote that to people, they either didn't have a response or they apologized.
Oh, wow.
And I would say things like, I appreciate your honesty, but if you really have something to say about me because I did something, I'd rather you not put it on my page. And it was just kind of this simple conversation that started. And now I feel like it's not much on my page like that anymore. There's always one hater in there somewhere, and that's fine. Everybody can't like you. Yeah. But then the final level of criticism is actually, and this is the hardest one, it's my own self-criticism. And, I think if I get defensive, there's a reason. So I should check myself and either take the criticism and really look at it, or it's not of me. If somebody's just being mean, hurt people. So there's that, but the criticism within myself is the hardest. And I think actually what's going on in the world right now is probably also one of the hardest times I feel like I'm coming into, because I don't know how to take in what's happening right now. And I'm really struggling. I'm actually having like a physical response to it. And I think some of the self-criticism is that I grew up with zero racism. I dated Black guys, I dated Hispanic men. It just wasn't a part of my world. But now it feels like I was uneducated within myself of these major issues that have always been here and how they've been reactivated now. And I'm feeling a bit of a loss. And I think there's some self-criticism coming in where I'm a little down on myself about where we are at with the human race. And it hurts.
It does.
And yeah, and it's real criticism because, I'm 33 now. It's hard. It's really hard to talk about. But
yes, and it's unbelievable. It's still happening.
Yeah.
So,
and it makes me angry.
It does. Yeah. It does. Like, how can a person be different just because?
I don't know.
Something there shouldn't be. Everybody should be treated equally.
Yeah.
But there should be something done about this.
Yeah, there will be. Yeah.
I hope so. But we all have to make a change. We all have to do something. It's not just criticizing and doing nothing about it. You have to make an impact.
Yeah, and we have to go back and heal the trauma from our childhoods, and
exactly.
We have to heal the trauma. We have to go through the forgiveness and stuff. We have to have change of hearts.
And try to change the mindset of the people, what they're thinking. This is not the time to. After all this globalization and advancement in technology and what we are right now, what we were before, too many things have changed, and great people have come. They have told about this. They have spoken about it. So it's time to change, guys.
It is. It is. No, you're right. It is. It's like we just have these land suits that are like, what are these? We have souls inside, and our souls are the same.
More eternal than anything else. What the physical appearance is, it doesn't matter at all. So thanks for sharing your criticism part. And how do you keep yourself motivated? But at times when you have this kind of things going on, and there are downfalls. Sometimes your mood is down. Something has happened, maybe disturbed you. But how do you keep yourself motivated and keep on going to whatever you want to achieve?
Yeah, I'm like I have this weird 3-day cycle. When everything hits me and gets too overwhelming, I basically have a complete shut off, which sucks for whoever's dating me. Unless they know about it, then it's great. Just leave me alone for 3 days. It's basically like the first day I shut down, it's almost like feels like a blackout mode. I can't handle anything. The second day I meditate, I do creative movement, breath work, get outside in nature, eat clean, healthy food, maybe have a couple conversations here or there, but mainly try to stay in kind of silence.
Mm-hmm.
And on day 3, I wake up inspired, and it's like a system of mine, and I've been doing it for probably 8 years. And it works every time like clockwork. My roommate, she knows. She's like, yep, she's on day 3. It's good. And it's just healing. It's healing. It's going through everything. It's sitting in the pain, crying through it, laughing through it. And yeah, on day 3, I want to sit and read a book and have a glass of wine and relax, because those last couple of days were really exhausting, and it sucks to not feel inspired. It's just the worst feeling.
Yeah.
Especially artists. I mean, I think everybody, but I know artists definitely struggle in that. It's like, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I not feeling, reading something though? You get one line from something, you go out in nature, you get one message, boom, maybe you're starting to create a new project. Maybe you're not going to finish it anytime soon, but you get lifted up and you start creating something new. I love creating new things, even if I'm going to put them away for a couple of years. It does something to me where it just gets me moving. Yeah. And a big other thing that I'm realizing in the quarantine state that we're in is I haven't been exercising very much. And I'm noticing that I'm a lot more tired throughout the day, because I think exercise flushes your body out. So, if you're not moving, if you're not releasing toxins in some way, we get all blocked up.
That's true.
And breath work to me is one of the hands down most important things that I've ever discovered for getting re-inspired and releasing something. But yeah, that 3-day cycle for me is real.
Thank you for sharing that. It's really gonna help me. I do some kind of meditation, and I strongly believe, and I pray, when I meditate or pray, I feel like there's kind of calmness and relaxation that I get. Usually I'm not a very good religious person, but whenever I feel overwhelmed and I am feeling down, this is the time I take and I pray. And some people, they do criticize. They are like, oh, you're a needy person. You are going to God when you need something. I was like, no, I feel relaxed. I feel, I'm talking to someone.
It goes like,
everything, so good. So this is a good tip for my audience and members. And
I pray all the time too.
Yeah, that really gives you strength, and you channel your frustration, whatever you have, in a good way to make changes and maybe come out with something innovative, or maybe something great idea. And I do see that, and this COVID-19, it's the same thing. I think with COVID-19, many people are, of course, affected. Their businesses are affected. Many are unemployed. But this is the time when people are sitting back and putting their thoughts together, thinking. And, I see the entrepreneurs as well. At first, they were like really, really stressed out.
Yeah.
Like, what we'll do, what we're going to do now. Our restaurants are closed, or this thing is, it's not working the same way. But then once we started talking, and we, talking and building teams together, discussing over issues, there were better ideas coming out. So this is the time to get intelligent thoughts, bringing new things in the way what we were doing. And lots of things that we were doing, like commuting and everything, was waste of time. Now you're using that time for something constructive, right?
Totally.
Obviously, less time together, meeting people and all that. But let's see the better side, the brighter side. Always,
Yeah, the brighter side is definitely, it's a great time to reinvent and get rid of all the things that weren't serving you. And
especially, So, now maybe we will, but even if we will be back to our normal lives, we will be, thinking before we take any action. Are we really?
I hope so.
Is it useful to do this? So so you have been an actress, you have been a singer, you have been an obviously a good dancer. So how did this shift come to an entrepreneur? How did you change to be an, thought about being a business person?
Yeah. Yeah. I got tired of waiting for people. I'm a doer, I'm like, let's just do this. So I was really tired of waiting around and feeling like I had no control over my career. And again, getting stories that I didn't care to tell was challenging. So it kind of shifted me into, I had found myself in front of a lot of animal abuse in Asia. And when I came back, I didn't know what to do. And then that landed me in Africa, and I discovered the anti-poaching world. And then I was like, okay, this for some reason, this is aligning perfectly with me. And I won't get too much into this, but I would love to share a little bit about it, because it's kind of what opened everything up for me. But I wrote a treatment for a story and needed to hire a writer. I lost my first writer. I got a second writer. The second writer was great. Now I have a third writer that's African, in Africa, rewriting the last draft to shoot next year. But what started shifting was the people. And I would pitch this story to people at dinner, and, got better and better at that, and kind of these business things, and going networking and meeting people. And I started praying to be introduced to the right people so that I could build my own team. And what I want in my production company is to be making impact films, impact TV shows, documentaries, all of it. And I don't love the producing part. I'm good at it, but I don't love it. And it's the only thing I think that stresses me out, because you're dealing with a lot of other people's emotions and their stresses and their money and all this stuff. But I'm going to continue doing it because I have to put the teams together that work together well. And I'm a big fan of loyalty and trust, and having fun while we're doing all this. So I wanted to start putting these teams together for my production company, and hopefully start adding on a much bigger team, so that everybody can just be branching off and doing the stuff that they love. I want to work with people that are happy and love what they're doing, So finding stories in other countries has become my mission, and to bring them home, and building business around that. I can't wait to watch where everything goes with all the different connections I've been making, and to have been able to be able to see that I was capable of doing something I didn't know I was capable of doing, was when the line switched, and I was like, oh, I can do anything. Actually, you can actually just do anything you put your mind to, if you want to do it enough, so developing this film and seeing how long it's taken, and now we're almost there, we're just right around the corner, will be the first of many. And I've got 4 other two TV shows, 2 films, also in production right now, in development. And so, yeah, I will hopefully have 5 things up and running within the next 3 to 5 years, let's say. And I want them to be projects that are high profile, highly respected, have incredible actors, whether they have names or no names. Like, get rid of all that, let's find people that are talented, that want to share these stories too. And then on the side of that, I got into the wellness business, and I started teaching retreats in Bali and Mexico. And I teach creative movement and guided visual meditations, visual guided meditations. But yeah, I started teaching all of that, and every time I'd come home, I felt more full than ever. So I've been building on the side, with a business partner, a company that will travel around the world, have a home base, but kind of be this mind, body, music experience through culture and art. And we're just still, trekking away on it. It's a big one, and it's going to take a long time, but yeah, I want to combine storytelling, healing of souls, and bring connection the whole time through.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. So we'll see where it all ends up. And then yeah, I'm going to be rescuing animals for the rest of my life. So I have to figure this out. We don't really know anything. We're all always figuring it all out.
Yeah,
So
we are always discovering, right? We are,
yeah.
and but because you are a genuine person and you are having a good thing that you want to make change or you want to do something good for people, I'm sure you will succeed in it, and many people will join you. Ask you, uh, as you mentioned, you have a lot of things going on in your mind. You want to do this and that. How do you stay focused? I mean, this is what we have problems with many entrepreneurs as well in my the members that I have. Focusing on the goal and then achieving it, because there are lots of things. There are so many opportunities, because of social media and this internet world. You get overwhelmed. So how do you keep yourself focused?
I keep myself focused by continuing to ask myself the reason why I'm doing this. I always have to go back to the pinpoint of how this started, why I'm doing this, what's my purpose with this. Why do I love this? Why? Just why all the time. Also hiring somebody to help me stay focused would be one of the other great parts, because I'm a person with a lot of ideas, and then I'm not the spreadsheet girl. I can't. So I need somebody to come in and really help, like brainstorm, think tank type stuff, spit it all out, and then have somebody organize it and then get it back to me. And then I can go back through and dissect things with my own ideas, add things, take things away, and just continuing to write down the purpose behind it, the point. Why am I doing this? And remembering, and I have to feel it. I have to feel it to be able to believe it, to make it happen, because if I don't feel it, I'm in trouble. If I don't believe in it, I'm in trouble. It's not, I think I'm going to go on to the next thing,
For sure.
Yeah. And again, meditating, and having silent time and balancing out my life socially and the work side of it so that I'm full. Because if I don't take care of myself, I have nothing to offer. I close off, Yeah. And then research. That's another thing that keeps me focused. Researching everything.
That's good tips. There are so many things going on. So what do you suggest to entrepreneurs, or what do you advise our members, entrepreneurs, to do to stay focused on the goal? Like you mentioned that you do this. What are your main tips that you think they can follow, so that no matter what situation, they're still doing what they want to achieve? They still stay focused.
Right. I mean, again, like I said, I think it comes back to asking yourself what you're really doing. And in this time that we're living in right now, we're getting the time and the space to slow down, and I'd say take advantage of that. I mean, even with my project, for example, we were going to be shooting an entire different film in July. And with what's actually happening in the world, this is a blessing in disguise that I'm rewriting the whole script right now, because we have so many points that are so important that need to be told that we're not in the first draft. And it's nobody's fault. It's just the way we were going for a while. And, slowing down and taking the time to make it right, and really weeding out the things that don't work. Maybe it's also getting rid of certain people that aren't right for the project. Who are the team players that are going to stand by you and only bring you up? Who are the people that do know more than you do about certain things that can add to all of this, that can be creating something great. And yeah, I think just kind of rewriting the narrative in this time is really important. And maybe it's not even rewriting it, and you already have something, incredible, but now you get the time to just kind of dissect every little part of it and find the beauty in every little piece of what you're doing. And then you get to share this. There's something great that is going to come out of all of this. I really believe it, as hard as it has been. And that does, that's separate from the people that are truly suffering and hunger that's going on around the world. That's just, it's so saddening. but aside from that, the reality of all of that, the people that are sitting at home and are in these safe places, it's like the world's your oyster, man. Look at it. Look, be grateful. Take what you have, make something great out of it.
That's true. We can criticize and we can be sad or whatever, but we have to see the greater good or
You
brightest
have to.
good and then keep
You
on,
have to.
because we cannot
Yeah.
end our lives just
Yeah,
because,
no.
something bad
No.
is happening. We can, you know, that's
Yeah.
really wisdom. You know, whatever you have said, really appreciate, and I congratulate for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it's been really inspiring for lots of people, and especially our ladies, our entrepreneurs. They will be benefited from what you have shared with us. Thank you so much,
Awesome. Thank you.
Briana. And
Thank you.
thank you
Yeah.
for that. And I would like to have you again on, again, if we'll be having our
I would love that.
to my studio maybe next time.
That would be great.
And
That would be great.
we'll be really excited to have you there. And you were the first guest, so it's fantastic.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and
Yeah.
wish you a great, years ahead and success.
Yes.
And for
You
sure,
too.
Nick and I, we were discussing about who to get as the first guest, and I think we hit it. We got the right
I'm so
person.
happy. I'm so
Yeah.
happy. I think you guys are just wonderful people. I love everything you stand for. So thank you.
Mutual feelings.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
something for you. I'm like,
Yeah.
so glad that we had an interview with you, and
Mm.
I'm sure a lot of ladies, they will learn a lot from you. When we
Cool.
hear from the real person who has succeeded so much and still
Yeah.
doing a lot of things, that keeps everybody inspired. And this is the purpose
Yeah.
of my show.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. This is going to be incredible. I can't wait to watch your show all the time.
Awesome.